Heavenly Father, in a world that sometimes feels filled with violence and division, we ask for your peace tonight. Remind us that as volunteers serving our city, our purpose should never be power or recognition, but simply to make this community better for everyone who calls it home. Guide us to work together with compassion and unity so that La Junta can be a place of hope. Amen. If you'll stay standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Schofield, roll call, please.
Ramirez, Velasquez,
Here.
Ayala,
Here.
Ochoa, here. Cantoya,
Here.
Rickoff,
Here.
All right. I'm going to change this up just, oh no, I can do this one first. So is Pam? Pam, if you want to come to the front, I'm going to do two proclamations. This proclamation has been maybe a month that we've been working on it. They're identical, so I'm going to read them the same. One's from the city of La Junta and one's from the state of Colorado. These proclamations, we wanted originally to do a Tarantula Fest proclamation. They don't do that, so we did the season.
Yep.
Because we're all about promoting the season anyway, not just the day, but the whole Tarantula Trek season. So I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas every fall, the city of La Junta comes alive with the unique natural spectacle, the Tarantula Trek, when mature male Colorado brown tarantulas emerge across the 443,000 plus acres of Comanche National Grassland in search of mates, an enchanting mating ritual, not a migration. And whereas the city of La Junta celebrates this distinctive aspect of its natural heritage, encouraging responsible observation and respect for the creatures in their environment. And whereas the city of La Junta promotes safe and respectful viewing by urging visitors to plan ahead, avoid roadside hazards, respect private property, and remain alert to tarantulas and traffic conditions. And whereas the Tarantula Trek blends community engagement, tourism, and conservation, drawing visitors from across Colorado, the nation, and beyond, generating economic activity and shining a spotlight on La Junta's natural and cultural treasures, helping demystify tarantulas and encouraging appreciation for the region's biodiversity. And whereas La Junta's Tarantula Fest, held on September 26th and 27th of 2025, invites visitors to enjoy guided bus tours, a festive parade, art, and education pavilion, all designed to educate and celebrate this extraordinary phenomenon. Therefore, I, Joseph Ayala, Mayor of the City of La Junta, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2025 as Tarantula Trek Month. So I will sign this one. And then this one, I'll have Pam hold up. This one is signed by our governor, Jared Polis, who gave this to us as well, too. So we're going to frame these, and we're going to put these up here in council chambers. But we now have a proclamation from the state and the city. So thank you for your work on this, Pam. Do you want to briefly explain why proclamations are so important for us in these smaller communities?
Yeah, no.
You're on.
I am?
Yeah, go on.
All right.
Might need to be turned up.
I can speak loud. It's fine. No, this was a great opportunity that was brought to my attention. Joe and I had talked about this, so we looked into it, submitted it. I think it's a great opportunity. We've been fortunate enough to have the governor and his family down here and introduce them to the tarantulas. So I think honoring what we're doing for the season is very important. A lot of what Joe talked about in the proclamation, it's very important that we are inviting people to our community, but we want it to be done in a responsible and a respectful way. It's something that Visit La Junta has been pushing very much, so that is what a large part of that language is. So.
And with proclamations, when we do them, it's a big thing for everyone that's here, right? And we understand it. Everyone in the Arkansas Valley, those that pay attention to La Junta City Council and stuff like that. But when the governor does it, it gives us eyes that we normally wouldn't reach. it gives us like a promotion that we wouldn't get otherwise. So that's why it's important when we get these state proclamations that, you know, it brings more eyes to our town. So we're thankful for them for doing that for us, and thank you, Pam, for all you've done. And she'll be back later to talk about more Tarantula Fest stuff. All right, now here's where I'm going to switch up. So instead of citizen participation right now, I'm going to bring Officer Cobb to the front, as well as Chief Quick. We have a Years of Service award, which comes with a pin because he has 5 years of service. You know, Mr. Cobb has done a wonderful job with us for 5 years. I'm glad to see him in this setting as opposed to the last one I had when there was an incident they were looking into close to my house. Him and all the rest of the officers do an amazing job at protecting us day in and day out. So I'd like to thank you for your years of service. I'm going to sign this, and then I'm going to give you your pin, and then Chief Quick can take a picture with you as well.
Okay.
Yes, you do. There's your pin. Congratulations. Good job. We appreciate you.
Just to let you know a little bit more about Josh.
Into the mic and loud.
Sorry.
It's on.
No, it wasn't.
Can you hear me now? All right. Just to know a little more about Josh, he actually started with us while he was a junior in high school on an internship with Swing School where he was at. So he did that for 2 years. And then he got into our reserve program where he became a volunteer police officer. While doing that, there was an opening for code enforcement. He went ahead and applied for that and got it and did code enforcement until we sent him to the academy. So he's been with us a little bit longer than 5 years.
That's awesome.
Very valuable volunteer, reserve, and employee.
You want to give a speech too, Josh?
I don't have any words for
No.
that.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
And then this one isn't on the agenda. Some stuff came up on Friday before we were able to put it on there, but Brad is going to give a brief update on what is going on with some things you guys may have seen across the street here. So, Mr. Brad.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's nice being on this side than sitting right there. So, Mr. Hart's doing a great job, though. Well, as everybody's aware, on the 4th of September, we received a call of a fire in the 600 block of Colorado. I want to make it clear that the very first 911 call that came in was the report of a tree on fire in the backyard. So a lot of speculations out there of this was on fire, that was on fire. It's not true. The very first one came in as a tree on fire. Yes, it was right across the street from the fire station, but my crew was about 3 blocks over, even further, on a medical call. They took all 4 of them that was on duty because it was an unruly drunk patient that was giving them a lot of hassle, so they all 4 had to go. This did not delay any response when we got there. So at 10 after 7, we got that phone call of a tree on fire. My engine was on scene in 2 minutes. It seems like in the event of an emergency, it's a lot longer. Am I right, Paul? We hear that from a lot of people out there that, oh my gosh, it took you 30 minutes to get here, it took you an hour to get here. It was 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a long time though. Once they got on scene, they realized they had more than a tree on fire. My engine pulled up, and at 9:13, they asked to have this upgraded to a full structure fire due to the fact that the back of the building was on fire. My crew deployed some hand lines right away, started looking at the surrounding structures, and figured out that this is an abandoned building. This was marked on our calendars, so we did kind of take some different precautionary tactics on it. But they worked hard. Once I got on scene, I was here within just a few minutes. I asked for assistance from Rocky Ford, Cheraw, Los Animas, and Manzanola, and then our state engine that's here through Division of Fire Prevention and Control. I also asked for the ambulance from AMR MedTrans to send an ambulance and a crew here to help cover the rest of my district for medical calls, because we were tapped out. I had all my staff here. Between all those agencies that came in, we had approximately 45 firefighters and EMS people in town helping. Unfortunately, this was right down on the main street, so All of the bystanders that were watching and stuff, first I want to say thank you for staying out of the way and making sure that nobody got in the way. But then we had a little incident with a fire hydrant, and everybody jumped in as a team, not only the bystanders, but a ton of students from Otero College. Where they came from, I have no idea. I think they were out and about, and they all jumped in and helped move a hose line almost 2 blocks away to another hydrant for us. This was a secondary water source for us, so it didn't delay anything. It just changed our tactics a little bit. I do want to give a big shout out to the La Junta Police Department and Otero County Sheriff's Office for helping shut down traffic. Also, all the city staff, community members, and Otero students again that all jumped in. We used approximately 490,000 gallons of water on this fire. The reason the fire spread so quickly was, one, this house was known abandoned, and it was very packed with lots of items inside. We'll just put it that way. The back of it was very overgrown and had been just used for a trash dump for quite some time, so it spread. We also had about an 8-mile-an-hour wind, and the humidity was very low that day during the daytime, so it helped the spread of fire was very quick. To the best of my guess, that fire had been burning at least 10 minutes to 15 minutes in that backyard before anybody ever noticed. If you think about this building and how this area was set up with the big trees, there's a big fence back there. A lot of the houses around there had fences. It's not easily seen from the streets. Okay, that's why it helps. That's why it spread so much. We spent a total of about 18 hours on scene, and we stayed in from the time it got started, or the time we were notified, until roughly 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, by the time most of us went home. So we put a lot of man hours in. The other crews that came in to help, Black Hills Energy for the gas side of it, the crew from the electric department, I cannot praise them guys enough. They were dealing with 13,800 volts of power because it was a big power line back there in that alley, and I had to have a big task with them to get that power lifted up off the poles because the poles were on fire as well. So we had a very huge threat of power lines coming down. Our other goal right off the bat was protecting the surrounding structures. Not only do we have a big apartment building right next to it, our apartment complex building type right next to it that was occupied with people at the time. One of my guys kicked in some front doors and told them to get out because they had no idea anything was even on fire. We had residents and properties on the other side of the alley that never really had direct flame contact, but the radiant heat was so high that it melted some sidings, blew out some windows, melted the back of a car, and unfortunately burned down another garage that was behind the other residents. Again, if everybody noticed, we had a lot of smoke throughout the entire town. This is because of when a fire that big burns, it kind of creates its own weather, so it was moving the wind all the way around. There was one time on Colorado Street, standing in front, I was 5 feet from my deputy chief and we couldn't even see each other because of the smoke. 2 minutes later, it shifted and went the other way. We didn't have any control on that. So the street department as well came in very handy. They brought in an excavator. That was my decision to bring in. One, I had to make sure that this fire was totally out, or it would have sat there and smoldered and burned. This building was added on at least 3 times that we could tell by the construction of it as we were doing our stuff. I'm not sure even when the first structure of that was built. I'm guessing the 1940s. I don't know. Nancy, do you know anything about when that building was built?
No, but I think it's probably closer to the turn of the century to
The first part of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so early 1900s then?
I think so.
Okay, and it had been added on, so we had multiple roofs, multiple attics on this building, and a very large basement that we had to deal with. So unfortunately, I could not send anybody on the inside, plus with the conditions, I wouldn't. So we were mainly wanting to protect everything on the outside. After it was all said and done, we worked another 3 to 4 days on top of it. The La Junta Police Department was given some information about the possible cause of this fire. I'm not going to go into too much depth of it. It's still under investigation, but we do have charges that will be filed through the DA's office. And a huge thank you to the police department and the sheriff's office for getting me that information so we could get the ball rolling. And then we decided to start tearing the building down after my investigation because of the safety standpoint and it being the parade and the Early Settlers Day on Saturday and that being a main route. We wanted to make sure that that structure was totally taken down and out of the way, okay? Right now, we are looking at approximately, and this is just some rough numbers, $1.7 million worth of damage amongst all the properties that were involved and lost or damaged. So that number could go up. We're not experts in estimating the money, of course. That's insurance companies that do that. But this is off of our estimations that we do through a formula that we use to estimate damage to if things were needed to be replaced today at today's cost. That's why the numbers are so high. Huge shout out to the water department for helping make things go. Huge shout out to Mr. Hart for being right there. He drove in from Pueblo. Next thing you know, he popped up and I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, what can I get for you? So he and Brock Keenkaus took off and got us some cold drinks. Good thing they knew the kid at Safeway at the door apparently because they were locking the doors and he was Brock's favorite student in school. So he's like, I'll let you guys in, come on in. So they got us fresh drinks and then all the businesses in town and all the people who brought us food. This was something that was not just an easy go in, put water on and leave. This was one of those ones that we had to come up with some different tactics and some different decisions. And couldn't have done it without my team. And when I talk my team, I'm talking my full staff, volunteers, full-time firefighters, and whatever it may be. But that's where we're at with this, and now that the property's been turned back over to the city for their due diligence of what they're working on and their hard work and what they're trying to get accomplished for that.
Thank you so much, Brad, for
You bet.
you, your team, everyone that helped. And also, when you're talking about call times and response times, even if you were in the station, how many people are in the station at one time?
4 guys. I have a minimum of 4 guys on duty at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So you have 4 guys, and then on top of that, you can't just go over there in a t-shirt and
Right.
just do stuff. You guys have to suit up. You have to.
Even if they would have been in their quarters, eating dinner, whatever they would have been doing, by the time the tones drop, they get out, get their gear on, out the door and around the corner, you're still looking at maybe 1:45, maybe 2 minutes tops. Our goal is to get anywhere in our community within 2 to 3 minutes. We all know that my community, my fire district's 350 square miles, so that's unheard of in parts of it, but in town, we want to be there within 3 to 5 minutes, very, very tops, but we shoot for 2 to 3 minutes. So I was very pleased with the response that we had. Also, like I said, we also do medical calls, and there's a lot of people that don't think we do that, but it takes more than 2 people sometimes to take care of a medical call. Example, what they were on. They were having to do hands-on with this unruly party that they were trying to get transported to the hospital. So then those 2, they had 2 guys leave, 2 guys stayed there, finished that call, and then came here. So it was an all hands on deck, and I couldn't be more proud of the team that we had show up, and then our neighboring departments. I mean, again, when we call for help from our neighboring departments, if you think about it, by the time we call, they still have to travel from Los Animas, Rocky Ford, Manzanola, Chirac. So you're looking at anywhere for another 15 to 30 minutes before they're even here. So we battled a lot with just what we had and the tools that we had. And I'm thankful for the La Junta Rural Fire District as well as the City of La Junta for allowing us to upgrade our equipment the way we did. Our ladder truck that was purchased through the city and then transferred over to the rural district, that was a big piece of equipment to have because we could get in the air, we could flow a lot of water. And I was informed this week too, late last week by Carl Schofield from the water department, this water line replacement that they did on 6th Street between Colorado and Santa Fe, if that line wouldn't have been replaced when they did, we would have probably collapsed the water mains along Colorado because they were so aged right in that area, and we would have been without all the hydrants right there because of the water that we were pulling. So it worked out to where they were able to maintain and upgrade that piece of pipe. And then the new water line that they put in on 2nd Street to fill the water tender or water tanker, the big semi that Los Animas brought me. That's an 8,000 gallon tank. They filled off of a fire hydrant in 3 minutes. That's a lot of water coming out of that hydrant. So we were very blessed to have that water line whenever they did the 2nd Street replacement, not too long ago, but they upgraded that line too. So very important that we look at that down the road when we're trying to get some of these infrastructure ideas and things taken care of and upgraded, and why we have to do it. Here's a prime example right here. So we were very blessed to have that. And I'll answer any other questions that anybody has.
There was a firefighter that sustained minor injuries. How's he doing?
He's doing great. Unfortunately, that garage on the 7th Street side gave us a little more problems than what we were expecting. It kind of, with the construction of that garage and the lots of use of fiberglass of the door around the building and stuff, it flashed. So he sustained just very, very, very minor burns on his hands as he was getting gear on when it happened and moving some things. But he didn't miss any work. He's all good. So we're very blessed to have him back.
With those injuries, however slight, anytime a firefighter, a police officer, city workers injured, like I said, however slightly, by an intentional act from somebody.
Yes.
And
with
those
this,
are reflected in the charges.
well, in this fire, we're taking very serious. When doing the investigation myself, and then the detectives from the Hunter Police Department worked very close hand in hand of sharing information and getting the right process going so charges can be filed. And I hope that we keep moving forward. And I'm going to stand my ground on this pretty solid, because we had a potential, unfortunately we lost some property, but we had a potential to injure probably 40 firefighters if those power lines would have fallen all the way to the ground at 1,300 or 13,800 volts. That's a lot of zapping is how we refer to it. So we were very blessed that way.
Anything else for Brad?
Have we identified those college students and community members that helped?
Yes, Mr. Hart's been working on that, and we plan on doing something for him. I might even let him spray a fire hose. They got to carry one. I will let him spray a fire hose too. Huh?
They deserve that.
And you know, the issue with the water hydrant, a lot of speculation out there. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, the city doesn't do anything, that they don't take care of things. That's wrong. Our city water department maintains our hydrants once a year at a minimum. That hydrant had just been flowing a month prior to this for something else that the water department was doing. Unfortunately, it just, when the time that it was trying to be used, it broke apart inside of it. And that could have happened on any fire hydrant around. Unfortunately, that was just the time that it happened, and we now have a brand new hydrant sitting in that place a couple days after the fire. So it's been identified and been replaced now.
And I will say, Mr. Siva explained that hydrant issue at the utility board last week.
For anybody that wants to watch, go check out the utility board.
Yeah, for sure. Well, but I'm just saying that the breakdown that you talked about, he discussed and explained it in very, very good detail as to what the issue was. But again, we've already replaced that one over there, so that was good to go.
Well, there's nothing else when they tell you you're standing in the middle of the street trying to make 10 other decisions, and they're like, hey, that fire hydrant's not working, and I'm looking down the street going, what? And I said, well, okay, plan B. I came up with plan B on the fly between myself, my deputy chief, and my battalion chief, who, my battalion chief's my brother, as most of you know, on the volunteer side. So the three of us made a decision of what we were going to do. Next thing we knew, here come the hose down the street, and I'm like, I don't know how that just happened, but it happens. And we made it work. So kudos to all of that. But there was lots of good pictures. I appreciate everybody who sent pictures to us, because we use those pictures in aid of, one, trying to determine where the fire was before we got there, how it grew, what was all burning. But then we can use that as a training module for our volunteers of how fire burns, how fast it burns, and the smoke color. It's called reading smoke. When you read the smoke, I can pick out what's time to burn it with the color of smoke. At one time, we did check the temperature with our thermal imagers, and we were roughly about 1,900 degrees burning at one time in the fire. So that's a lot of heat. That'll melt a lot of stuff around it. It doesn't take much radiant heat to cause damage. That was a lot of damage on our properties, but we're moving forward. I've been submitted, my report's been submitted. I think police department's been submitted to Mr. Hart for their process on the citizen.
You know, just because I got asked probably 30 times, I know that in the utility board meeting at 4:20 is when Tom talks about what happened with that hydrant.
Yeah.
So if you want to get even more specific,
even better.
it's just because, you know, there were so many people that just had bad information, and until Brad and PD do all their stuff, you know, it's just speculation. And
It is.
People
It
don't
is.
really understand. They know it wasn't working the way it was supposed to, but it wasn't due to negligence. It wasn't due to,
Right.
not taking care of things.
It was just bad timing.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with it too, there was a lot of talk out there, why didn't you put the fire out faster? Why didn't you go inside the building? Well, one, it's an abandoned building. I'm not going to put my staff in danger of entering an abandoned building. And then come to find out it had this deep basement in it. There was a very good chance we could have lost firefighters in there. Two, it's a science behind how we fight fire anymore. A little bit of water, it takes a lot of water to put a lot of fire out. So that was the thing, was we were doing the best we could, but then we have to change our role of protecting the surrounding areas before we lost maybe 2 or 3 more sheds, maybe another house. The apartment building actually did catch on fire at one time. We were watching it. I was watching it off gas. When I say off gas, it gives off a little bit of a steam, and then it ignited that quick. My guys turned their attention with 2 hose lines, knocked that fire down on the outside, and protected it from going inside that residence. So there was no fire damage that got in that upstairs apartment, and we held it tight right there. So I was very pleased with that. Yes, the window did get broken out. There was some water damage, but the fire damage all stayed on the outside of that structure. So I want to give my crews and the guys on the hose lines at that time, they kept that building standing, and I was very pleased to see that. That was a tough task, and they handled it. So
Thank you so much, Barry.
You bet.
All of you guys.
hey, thank you guys, and thank you community. Thank you everybody that jumped in and helped. We couldn't have done it. I've been told by other firefighters, and there was actually one here in town watching who's from a bigger city, I'm not going to say, but he said where he works, they would have never have seen the help and the teamwork of not only the firefighters from the other agencies, but the community come together and help out. He said they're jealous because he went back and said, these guys got homemade burritos, they got hamburgers, they got stuff like that. And they have to usually beg to have somebody bring them food up there. So we are very blessed in Southeast Colorado. And I've also expressed that to my Colorado State Fire Chiefs Association, because they watch our area very, very closely of what goes on and how we handle things. And we're showing them that we can take care of it as a team and the community as a whole. So without that support, things wouldn't happen. And I just want to say thank you to the community for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
You bet.
Quick question.
Sure.
I appreciate all the numbers
Sure.
and the data. You're right. It gives us
Mike.
ammunition for being able to answer questions. So
Sure.
thank you very much. Really quick, how many firefighters are there in La Junta, and how many volunteers are on the volunteer fire
On the
department?
full-time side, there's 15 full-time firefighters, including myself.
Okay.
On the volunteer side, I have roughly about 17 volunteers. The volunteer side of it, that number stays about the same right there. It never really grows due to the fact of all the extra things that are asked from volunteers. They still have a life. They still have to work a full-time job. And then we're asking for all this extra stuff. So it takes a very special person, a dedicated person, to be a volunteer. So we're right in those numbers right there. With the full-time staff, like I told a little bit ago, there's four staff at a minimum on duty at all times. And then during the daytime, myself, my deputy chief, and then there's a chief or a captain of operations. So 3 more of us, when I'm not in other meetings and things like that, that are on duty. So during the daytime, we don't see a lot of the volunteers because they have full-time jobs. Luckily, this was a night that most of them were free, that was able to come. I did have to put a couple extra call out for requests to come in, and almost all of them, I had almost everybody on scene. There was a couple here and there, but for that time of night, we were pretty lucky.
Awesome. Thanks.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys for letting me come up and explain things and put
thank
the
you.
real information out there.
Thank you.
So.
No, thank you for protecting.
You're welcome. It's our job, and you know what? My staff looks at it, and I think Todd and his guys look at it too. As people tell us around town, "Oh my gosh, you guys are heroes." We're not heroes.
Yeah.
We're just in this line of work because we want to, and we just want to help. That's what I remind my guys. I remind them every day: go do your job. That's all I ask. Do your job, and that's what they did that night. Everybody did their job. So.
I disagree. I think you're heroes. So.
No, and no calendar. So, hey, thank you guys.
I'll let that one slide. And since Brad and Todd and Officer Cobb are first responders, I moved the agenda around just so they can get in, get out, and go about their evening. So thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Now, I dare citizen participation to top that. I mean, there we go, Gary. They did turn the mic off on me. Let's hit that button right there. So there you go.
There we go. So my name is Gary Reed. There's a few people. Oh. My name is Gary Reed. There's a few people that probably don't know me out here. Most of them probably do. I live at 18975 State Highway 202 in Rocky Ford. I do have houses and stuff in Rocky Ford. But you may better know me as the discarnate landlord. Thank you, Adrian Hart.
You're welcome, sir.
You're a class act. Your family should be proud.
They are.
So the big thing that, and I want to thank the fire chief. I guess they left, but the fire chief and the police. I have received tons of calls over across the street, and I'm just so glad that we did get some clarity on a lot of stuff. The next thing I want to say is just how quickly this got out of hand. I mean, little fire, poof, up, flames, all kinds of stuff. So with that being said, they acted really, really fast. I had a house a couple blocks over. People were calling me to say my house is on fire because they saw the flames shooting above my house. So lots of people were watching. Next thing I want to say is, again, this was a city-owned property, if I'm not mistaken, right? And we've had lots of questions on, I know that the girl on the corner has had to move some tenants, possibly. Looking at having to move tenants. Is that something that the city is accounting for, or because it was a city-owned building, or is that, what's the process for that, do you know? Well, you don't have to answer that at the moment anyway. I know you don't have to respond. But anyway, again, I've said it before, we need, as a community, and as a city especially, we need to take care of our own houses before, you know, I'm probably going to make somebody mad, but there's been a lot of consternation about landlords in the valley, how they're taking care of their houses. Some of it is not good, I understand, but at the same hand, it's very quickly how this house that the city owns is just like could have been any one of us, really, whether it's a rental house or a just a residential. So anyway, again, I hope that kind of puts a little bit of water onto the heat about landlords. I mean, we're not all so alone, really. So anyway, and Carly Johnson sitting back there. I just want to give a quick shout out. First Tuesday of the month at Wild Roots Kava. She has her entrepreneurial thing going. I know Marine's been there. I've been there quite a few times, and it's really, really informative. So if you guys have any inclination to be an entrepreneur, or you know anybody, send them on down. It's a lot of fun, a lot of information. So even an old guy like me who's already been there for a while. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Do you want me to shut this off, or somebody else coming?
You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you. Anyone else for citizen participation?
Can't help but follow that, guys. That was rich. This on?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, my name's Adrian Hart. I publish seconews.org. I do that at 201 Colorado Avenue here in La Junta. We're hosting our annual candidate forum. So any candidates on the ballot are welcome to join us. We'll have Jim Rizzuto moderate that. That'll be on the 29th. It's the 5th Monday of the month, so we know you guys don't have meetings. Yeah, we're going to have, basically we're going to invite everybody from Otero County. So we're looking at Manzanola School Board, Swing School Board, La Junta School Board, La Junta Council, and Rocky Ford Council.
That's September 29th.
6 p.m. We'll open the doors. 6:30 we'll start at the Picket Wire Center for Performing and Visual Arts, San Juan Avenue here in La Junta. So anyone with questions about that can reach out to Seco News directly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
I almost recognize you without the glasses, Adrian.
Oh, there you go. That's why I didn't flip the camera. I didn't want to put them on.
I thought you were going to complain about our city manager hitting you with the candy bar earlier.
Oh my gosh, I should be throwing candy at him right now. That was so much fun. Everyone hit us with candy. Otero and the city.
All right, moving on. Library Advisory Board. Who wants to do the honors of speaking for the Library Advisory Board? Holly?
Hi, thank you all for having us tonight. My name is
There you go.
Hi, thanks for having us tonight. My name is Holly Hudak, and I am a library board advisory board member. We do have several other people here from the board. Before the meeting started, we did hand out our annual report. I don't know if you guys want to take a few minutes and see if you have any questions for us.
Any highlights, Holly, that you want to make sure we see?
Well, they definitely just finished up their summer reading program, which was fantastic and well attended by our community members. The staff has been fantastic. I've been in there several times working with them, and they're doing really well at juggling their patrons and their activities. And I'm just really proud of our library here.
You listed under capital improvements, the replacement of the HVAC compressor. How are you going to do that, or how is that being identified?
That would actually be Miss Heather. Would you come and join me here? The library director, Heather Mays, please.
And just a question for clarification.
What was that question again?
On the replacement of the HVAC compressor, is that a goal of the board, or?
It's actually been placed into the budget. So if you look in your budgets for library under capital outlay, that should be there.
That was my follow-up question.
That's okay.
Don't go too far, I have another question. After the report.
What else should the report show?
I don't know. Are you getting more of a report? Or is this?
Did you have any questions about the report?
No, I just wanted to see, so she was going to piggyback on the award that the library.
Yeah, I wasn't letting her leave without
Oh, okay.
that. That was after you had 5 questions.
Well, I have a question. I know that the hours have changed for the library in the last year, and just wondering how, and this is probably more of a Heather question too, but wondering how that has impacted the utilization of the library, if that has worked, how you would, what you hear from the community, what you would do differently if you could, just kind of at what you've noticed about the changes in the hours. Maybe just starting off by telling us what they used to be and what they are now.
So we used to be open Monday through Thursday 9 to 7, Friday 9 to 6, and Saturday 9 to 4. We've had some ups and downs, a lot of changes. A couple years ago, we took Saturdays off completely and were closed Saturdays and only open Monday through Friday 9 to 6. Last year, I believe we brought Saturday hours back, and now we're open 12 to 4 on Saturdays and still Monday through Friday 9 to 6. We do hear a lot of talk about how they wish we were back open in the mornings on Saturdays and had the full 9 to 4. That's probably the biggest. I have a few people that would like us to go back to 7 o'clock Monday through Thursday in the evenings, but that's, you know.
And what are the hours now?
9 to 6 Monday through Friday and 12 to 4 on Saturday.
And then on Friday before you had your schedule, what was the schedule?
Friday was always 9 to 6. Monday through Thursday was the one where we were moved from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock closure.
So 8 hours different than what it used to be. 4 hours on Saturday and 4 hours each Monday through Thursday.
Correct.
Okay. what has changed programming wise with the change in times?
Teen Activities Group has had to adjust, and they run now from 4:30 to 6, and so it's shortened how late and how early it starts earlier. They get done sooner. They're not there as later. A lot of teens, yes, our schools get out at 4, but if they have any sports or anything they do, they have a hard time attending the earlier time. So we've definitely seen a drop in teen activity and participants. But that's about the only one that has had any impact.
Okay.
But Kimberly and I have been talking, and we're going to be reaching out to the teams to try to see if there's maybe a better day of the week or a better time or something that would benefit them a little better to give them more opportunity.
I have one more question. So I know that you were encouraged to be creative about revenue generating sources at the library, and just curious if you've had any success with that. I know that there were some room rental conversations, and I know you started some programming might not be the right word, but some services offered that weren't offered before. Do you mind talking about those?
So Field Print is a fingerprinting and an I-9 and a photo badge service that we offer at the library. We don't make any of the appointments. We are just the backside. So if an employer needs fingerprinting done for their company, they would contact Field Print, set up an account with them, and then their employees would go through Field Print to set up the appointments. And then we get notified of somebody that's chosen our location to come in for those services. Last month has been our biggest month all year. I think we had 13 appointments. So for our little area, that's pretty good. When we first started, we were seeing a lot of Western Kansas coming this way because we were the closest place for them to come, Garden City, things like that, which has been nice. And we made about $60 last month over field fingerprinting. So it's not a huge thing, but every little bit helps.
It's a service you're providing, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's not about making up that whole number, but just stepping outside the box and trying new things and doing stuff. How many employees do you guys currently have?
Hold on. I think we're at 9 right now.
Is that including your custodian?
Yes.
And of the 9, how many are full-time and how many are part-time?
5 are full-time and 4 are part-time.
What do you consider part-time?
They work 25 hours a week. Full-time is 40 hours a week.
Any other questions for Heather or Holly?
Just waiting on that Governor Summer job hunt for it.
So we had a team that worked with us through the Colorado Workforce Center this summer. And when his hours were done, I got notification about a month ago that Melanie from the Workforce Center had submitted the library and Jaden both for an award for the Governor's Summer Job Hunt Award. And we were notified that we actually received an award and Jaden did as well. So we all traveled on September 4th up to the Governor's Mansion, to the Carriage House, and the library was presented this award, and Jaden also received an award for his job skills this summer that he picked up from us. So it was really exciting and it was nice.
Awesome. September 4th was a big day for us.
Yes, it was.
Well, I would just like to give a shout out to the board. Everybody showed up. Sarah, your timing is perfect. So I just want to thank the volunteers. They're a very diligent board, and they all attend meetings and do a lot of volunteer work outside as well for the library. So I wanted to thank them. Sarah holds the chair, and I believe has been serving the library in this capacity literally for decades. So thank you for doing that. Terry Smalling and Julie Worley. Is she? Julie? Nope, there's Julie and Holly, who we already heard from, and also Nicholas Burdick, who's newer to the board. So thank you all for your volunteer service to the community.
I'll just finish with this one. I got to watch your meeting today on Facebook Live, and I'm so happy that I was able to watch that. Anyone else that loves to watch all city meetings, that meeting will now be streamed every month. You said something that was really interesting, and I think a lot of other city departments should really follow you guys in this. You know, you guys went to the Senior Resource Fair, and you talked to a lot of people. I also saw, it might not have been just you, might have been Friends of the Library at Early Settlers Day, but with things like Early Settlers Day, with Senior Resource Fair, with Tarantula Fest, if we can promote what we're doing here, how this affects the bottom line and stuff like that, I think that's a big step in the right direction. So thank you guys for being at that and you know, telling people about Woodruff and the work you guys do.
We definitely try to be to anything local for the community. We attended the community baby shower that, who put that on?
CDS.
Yes, they put that on also at the college, and that was a great resource for us to hit a lot of young families and parents and soon-to-be parents. So anytime there's anything in the community, the library somehow fits in at some point with it. So we always have a service we can offer.
I thought that was awesome. Thank you guys.
And you don't only service La Junta, it's Rocky Ford, Los Animas, because it's more of a regional library. Because I mean, not knocking, just saying that ours is a little bigger and a lot better. That's subjective, but obviously right there, you know.
And if they want to pitch in, they're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
guys. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, consent agenda. Entertain a motion.
I motion to approve.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
A second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll ask for your vote. Yeah. And that passes unanimously. All right. New business. Letters of interest for Ward 2 vacancy. I did see all 3 letter participants here. A long time ago, I put in for a vacant council seat. And when I came to council, they didn't let anybody talk. They were just like, okay, ladies first, and then they just appointed someone. And I thought, that's just so unfair. Like, I think people should have the chance to talk and state their case and do all that. Now, I do want to say that this is a little bit weird because it's really going to be 3 meetings. Just so you know, it's not a long duration, but it's basically 3 meetings that you guys would be a council member. So I will go in alphabetical order by last name. So sorry about that, Julie. But Carly, if you want to come up first, say a little bit about yourself, and then if council has questions, please feel free to jump in with some questions, and then go back to your seat for the time remaining.
Mayor, council members, and neighbors, thank you for considering me for this appointment. My name is Carly Johnson, and I've had the privilege of serving this community through my small business downtown, the Urban Renewal Authority, Kiwanis, and numerous community service projects. I didn't step forward for this role lightly. I believe that City Council is where the practical work gets done, like making sure streets are safe, infrastructure is reliable, and opportunities exist for families and small businesses to grow here in La Junta. If appointed, my commitment is simple. I will listen to the residents, do my homework, and work respectfully with each of you to move our community forward. This city has given me so much, and I feel called to give back through service at this table. Thank you for your trust and for the chance to continue building La Junta's future together.
I just do want to mention to those of you that are out there and watching, Carly was the only person out of these 3 that filled out a petition to be on the ballot in November. So while if the other 2 are selected, it would be 3 meetings, but for you, you have a little bit longer than 3 meetings. So just so everyone's aware of that too. Any questions for Carly?
I do. I have a couple of questions. Okay. So what would you, as a council member, be willing to cut to increase our public safety?
Well, given that I haven't really been into the budget yet as a council member, I haven't seen all of the workings and the numbers. here. I wouldn't really be ready to answer that question at this time.
And as a council member, if our police are doing the job of arresting criminals, what job do you suggest the city's role is in making sure these criminals are prosecuted justly?
I believe that it's up to the city to create policy and put into place just a policy that doesn't allow these criminals to be placed back on the street so quickly, and just giving our law enforcement the necessary tools that they need to do their jobs.
I just have a question. What kind of policy would you suggest for something like that?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
I'm going to ask everybody the same question. Okay. Do you know how many houses we have available for purchase in La Junta right now?
I don't understand that question.
For the housing crisis that we have?
How many houses we have available for purchase?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know that.
And what do you think the role of city council is in increasing housing and making rents more affordable?
Well, I think that the city can offer incentives to developers in town and make it easier for people who want to create housing, basically.
Thank you.
Could you elaborate on your position with the Art Valley Hospice?
Sure. So currently I'm on the hospice fundraising committee. So we are working with hospice to help with the fundraising, basically. So we're planning some community events here in the future just to take the load off of the hospice people right now who are the only ones that are managing the fundraising for hospice.
Same question for the Kiwanis Club.
So I'm actually the president of the Kiwanis Club, which we just actually launched here in La Junta.
And could you elaborate when you say that a deteriorating building and you've turned it around into a small business and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. So I purchased a building downtown and over 6 months renovated it and put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it, a lot of money out of pocket. I bootstrapped the entire thing, and I started a business, Wild Roots Kava Company, where we are a gathering place for the community, and we are an alcohol-free bar, basically. And we've been open for a little over a year now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And restaurant.
And restaurant, yes.
Any other questions for Carly? Carly, thank you for taking an interest.
Thank you.
Carly.
So, Miss Tazi, sorry. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
What do I win, Bob? I did not have such an eloquent speech planned as Carly did, but I did submit my interest in this Ward 2 seat is an interim position. I did not get on the ballot. As you all know, I have a son who is in high school and he will be graduating in 3 years, and the 4-year term at this time just wasn't really feasible for my family and I. I do take strong interest in La Junta. I do support our small business community. I actually have my own small business as well, and I not only write grants but help support small businesses in maybe some of the facets that they're not experienced in, maybe marketing. I've even done IT support for some of the small business clients that I have. I am a grant writer. I work for the state of Colorado in the Division of Military and Veterans Affairs, so I also handle all of the veterans funds that go out through 2 of our major grants through that department. I haven't lived my whole life in La Junta, but I've lived the majority of my life in La Junta, and I just have this need to give back to the community that has served me so well throughout my life. And I think that I have a level head when it comes to issues that come up for all of us, as not only residents but also business owners and community members. And I just want to do my part to continue that service. I serve on multiple nonprofit boards. I'm requested very frequently to join other boards. But like I said, with my son graduating in 3 years, I do want to devote my long-term or my short-term time to him because I don't get that time back. But I'm ready and willing to serve and happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Just for everyone that's out there, the packet you guys have has all the letters too. So if you're wondering what she was referencing with the letter there, it's in your packet. Any questions for Ms. Tausen?
I'm going to ask the same question.
Okay, Lisa.
What would you, as a council member, be willing to cut out to increase public safety?
I agree with Carly's point, and I would have to see a more in-depth look at the budget to see where there may be. I know that the budget's very tight, and it would have to take some very careful consideration, but I do take public safety very, very seriously. Obviously, you all know my husband is a firefighter. I do support the fire department. I just submitted a grant for them this morning, things like that. So public safety is one of my top priorities.
And as a council member, if our police are doing the job of arresting criminals, what job do you suggest the city's role is in making sure that these criminals are prosecuted justly?
Well, I don't know that the city has that authority. It's more the DA who has that authority over how they're prosecuted. So I don't know how the city can assist them, but it's worth looking into how we can provide them more maybe thorough reports, maybe stress the importance of keeping these criminals off the street. But I believe that is the responsibility of the DA and not city council.
And do you know how many councils are available?
I believe last I looked we're around the high 60s, maybe low 70s. I do get regular reports on properties in La Junta, so I do try to stay up on that. As many of you know, I'm the La Junta Chamber of Commerce president, so I do keep up on the local affairs and things like that. And I will be, again, president of the La Junta Chamber of Commerce going into 2026, even though we thought that I would be ending my term here in December, but I will be carrying that on to 2026.
A 3P?
It's a 3P, yes.
Great. And then the last question is, what do you think is the role of city council in increasing housing and making rents more affordable?
I think it's a community effort. It's not just city council. I think it takes a lot of different boards, different organizations. I know that there were some projects for affordable housing over the last few years, and I don't know that those panned out real well. So maybe coming up with a new drawing board to what that would look like, maybe offering some of the properties at lower prices for people to develop, and then just maybe moving some of those vacant lots and things like that.
Any other questions from Ms. Tausen?
In your letter, you said that you've come up with practical solutions to address some community challenges. What challenges do you see within the community?
My biggest thing is we all have to work together, and that's been our biggest theme at the chamber for this year. Maybe some community members aren't as keen on working together, and I think that's the biggest thing is kind of lessening that gap between us versus them. If we're not working together towards a common goal, then we're going to be fighting each other. So the goals that we've come up with are going to be things that not only help our businesses. I introduced a program last year with the Chamber of Commerce called a very important business event. So we saw a need within the community for some of our smaller businesses who didn't maybe have the resources to go to these long trainings or classes. So we did kind of like micro classes, and we did things like accounting or marketing, and we did headshots. So just finding ways where we can meet people where they're at.
So you're speaking specifically about the business community?
Business committee, yeah, for those initiatives that I was a part of.
As a 30,000 foot in La Junta as a community, what's the challenge?
Gosh, if I could pick one.
Just one.
I think one of our bigger challenges, and I think I've seen it just around, is kind of the criminal activity, I guess, going on. So I think it would take all of us to do that. I know that there's a neighborhood watch initiative going on with the police department right now. I think that's meeting next week on the 24th. I'm head of the neighborhood watch in my community, and or my neighborhood, I'm sorry. But initiatives like that, I think, are very practical solutions. Obviously, our police force is small, and they can't be everywhere all the time. So the more we can do, again, better together, the more we can do together to solve these problems, address some of these issues, I think that's the only way we can move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got one question for you.
Oh.
I was going to let you off. Do you understand the difference between enterprise funds and general funds?
Yes. So enterprise funds are earmarked for certain projects, to my knowledge, if I'm understanding that correctly. And then general funds can be used for different areas. Is that correct?
So the general fund is, everything that isn't tied to something. So electric is an enterprise fund, water is an enterprise fund, all those that you pay for those services, those are enterprise funds. General fund is something that can't sustain itself, so it gets put in the general fund. Okay, so like your library, your police department, your swimming pool, those types of things are general fund. And I think it's important for you, and sorry to get this one for Carly either and for Julie coming up, is to realize that there's a difference between those two funds, and you can't mix those monies at all. You can't use money from the electric department into the general fund. You can't do that kind of thing. And when people want to be on council and they want to do these things and they have all these great plans, I think it's important that everyone realizes what you can and can't do, and your money is very strict on, unless you get a lot of businesses, which I hope we do, that tax money is just so small and it doesn't stretch as far as we want it to. I want the library and the police and the fire department all to have all this money, but we just can't do it at this time.
Right, and I may have not explained it correctly, but as far as enterprise funds go, I meant like those are earmarked for certain areas where that income is coming in, whereas the general fund is a little bit more liquid, I guess you could say.
And just last one, when it comes to volunteering and doing that kind of work, you said you haven't been in La Junta your whole life, but a lot of it. Can you talk about when you came back and when you started?
So I came back in 2014. So I graduated from La Junta High School and I left for college and did some other things, got some work experience under my belt, and came back in 2014. At that time, I jumped right in. I got on the Girls in the Middle committee. I was on that committee for 10 years. So they planned the STEM conference at Otero College. I have been on the chamber board off and on since 2017. Most recently, I've been on since 2022. I serve on the CASA advisory board. I am the tournament director for the Los Angeles Fire Department annual golf tournament. I'm on a volunteer basis with the fire department. I take photos to document our hardworking first responders. And I really just jump in wherever I'm needed. I enjoy volunteering my time. My son enjoys volunteering his time, and so we love giving service of the heart.
Thank you for all you guys do.
Thank you.
All right, Julie, you're up. Come on down. Speak into the mic, Julie.
Well, I am going to tell you, you have to eat these mics. You have to be right on top of them. We couldn't hear some of the previous speakers, but I am here to tell you that I am going to withdraw my application because I really feel that you need to appoint Carly and give her 3 meetings before she's actually elected to the chamber. I had no idea, and I'm very pleased that she put her application in, and I would strongly suggest that you appoint Carly Johnson to this position. So thank you for your consideration, and thank you all for your service and what you do.
Thank you.
She just didn't want to answer any of my questions.
Did you say you got enough time?
I will say that her letter was very nice. I appreciate that. Brevity is the key to good communication. Coming from me, I guess.
No, thank you to Julie, thank you to Christina, thank you to Carly. It's amazing when you have people step up to fill these vacancies. I will once again say that we're going to have one in utility board that's at the start of November, maybe, hopefully. So just keep that in mind too. So if you can get selected tonight, maybe there's another opportunity to serve. So I think the best way is just to entertain a motion and then we'll go from there.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Carly Johnson to the seat, primarily because she is the only candidate on the ballot, and it makes sense for continuity to have her. So I make the motion to appoint Carly Johnson.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll ask for your vote. And that passes 5-1. Thank you so much, Christina. We appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks for being Sam's mom. We'll see you soon.
All right.
It's funny.
All right. Committee and board reports. Paul?
Yeah, I'll start out with the Senior Center Advisory Board. We met and they're holding strong. They have about 493 members right now. They've also started the La Junta Senior Center Gem of the Month, and I'd like to recognize Miss Juanita Hinkhouse for September's Gem of the Month, just for all she does. This will be going on, and hopefully every meeting that after a advisory board meeting, I'll be able to recognize a senior up here on top of whatever else is going on at the Senior Center. Moving on to the utility board. So I don't want to ruin anybody's or be a spoiler, but that fire hydrant on 8th and Colorado had a compression plate problem. When they checked it 2 months prior to the fire, it was working fine. But just like Murphy's Law says, things will break down in order of priority or importance to the task that you're undertaking at the same time. That is a clear indication that Murphy was out there jacking with that fire hydrant. So moving along with that. So we say routine maintenance, there's a lot going on. So if you, as you're driving around the city and you see fire hydrants with white caps on the sides or on top, that means that they've been looked at and they should be in working order, but again, can't discount Murphy out there. A reminder for customers to stay out of the meter pits to manipulate valves. If anything is damaged, the customer is responsible for the cost of repairs. Homeowners should have a master valve installed inside their home. Please call the utility office at 384-2546 during regular business hours. And I wouldn't want to be the one to call the water department and say, hey, I broke my outside valve or something while I was messing with it. Don't be Murphy, all right? As far as the electrical department, as fire chief stated, we had a lineman working on a fire. Well, the pole was on fire trying to do his job, and that's just high risk. So these are not only our friends and neighbors and employees of the city and people that you see drive by every day, they're putting their lives on the line. The shout out to the other departments, the street department, the water department, the police department, everybody got involved. One of the things that was most impressive was the community got involved. Not only did the Otero students get involved, as well as other community members. I talked to Michael Hart that night, and I was worried about the displaced families out there. When I called him within an hour after the first time we spoke, it had been taken care of. The community reached out to these people that were displaced by this fire, and they were taken out. So that just speaks to us as a community, and a shout out to those people that offered up homes or a place for them to stay. So that'll be it for that.
Did you want to talk about the meeting? Did you go to the conduit meeting?
I did not.
Okay. No, you're not talking about it. All right. Any other committee and board reports?
Library was today, but we've heard plenty. So thank you. Bye.
All right. Michael, it's your time to shine. City manager report.
Sure. See what I can do here. So again, I want to invite council to the CML district meeting. That's going to be next Thursday, the 25th, over in Los Animas. Still time to sign up. If you want on there, get a hold of Mel, get a hold of me, get a hold of Paula. We'll be sure to get you signed up over in Los Animas. It was mentioned earlier, but the neighborhood watch meeting is going to be next Wednesday, the 24th, 6 p.m. Over at the police department. So again, if anyone wants to be a part of that, show up and learn, I guess. Tennis courts. We are waiting to hear back some about concrete ability to get some concrete, but we're pretty positive that we'll be starting those here by October. We get on those here by October time to get that all going. Do want to invite everyone out to the public budget hearing next Monday on the 22nd here at the council chambers. Let's see, check my list off here real fast so I don't miss anything. I want to do a kind of a shameless plug for our senior center and the veteran coffee that they put on every Wednesday at about 8 o'clock. If you ain't got nothing going on a Wednesday morning about 8 o'clock and you want to come over and hang out with a bunch of cool people, stop up by the senior center about 8 o'clock. It's open to everybody. I mean, it's veterans coffee, but it's open to everybody to show up. Come hang out, shake some hands, hug some necks. It's a good time just to come out and then socialize in the community. A couple other things. Of course, everybody's heard about Safeway at this point. I will say that myself, along with the mayor, along with Pam Dennehy, and a few others have been working nonstop on the Safeway issue since it started last Tuesday very unexpectedly. I think that first day we were up till it was well past 10 o'clock. It was way too late. I didn't mean to send that text that late. I didn't realize it until I did. Anyway, but they both responded at almost 11 o'clock at night. We had more conversation about it. But I will say this: we are in the process of trying to get something figured out. Now, what that is, we don't quite know just yet. I've had a ton of folks reach out, call, text, email, etc. Hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do that. I welcome all the ideas anybody has. Get a hold of me, get a hold of my office. We'll write them all down and try to figure it out as we go. It is going to be a bit of a loss to our community, but I just want everyone to know that we are working every day. In fact, Pam and I we've talked every day about Safeway in one fashion or another since this happened last week. The other thing I want to kind of comment on a little bit more with the fire with the property across the street. Again, I think everybody did a wonderful job that evening. Fire department, police department, all the other departments that showed up to help out, all the various utility departments within the city that showed up to make sure, like Paul said, I mean, we literally had a building on fire and a pole on fire, and our electric crew was getting a line up to where it would fall down. So it was just amazing the turnout that we had with all those folks to come out and make it as safely as quickly as possible out there. So now that reports have been done, and again, I can't really go into any potential charges that may or may not be filed, just because it is an ongoing investigation. We're working with AIRS, which is our brownfields consultant, along with the EPA and the CDPAG. Don't ask me what that one means. Sure, there we go, perfect. Anyway, we're working. Y'all got way too many acronyms out here. We're working with all these various departments and agencies about getting some emergency grant funding, because while that building was on our list to tear down, it wasn't on our list to tear down last week or 2 weeks ago. So in fact, I just got the email before we stepped into the meeting tonight for all of our signatures and to proofread, and it'll be going back out tomorrow for grant application for emergency grant funding in order to get that cleaned up. That's all I have. Unless anybody has any questions.
Real quick, on Safeway, this is something that council had no idea about.
Correct.
Not one
Yes.
person on council, not one person in the city manager role.
No.
Nobody in the city building knew anything about Safeway until the news broke. And that day started about 7 a.m. was the first text I sent out of the group text, and it was just nonstop from there.
And I mean, you said whatever time that was that you texted Pam and I got a phone call maybe 4 minutes before. I mean, I was literally just hanging up from a phone call when I was informed, it was suspected anyway. Whenever you texted me, I said, "Hey, this is what I heard." So the city had no knowledge of this whatsoever. Not my office, not any elected official, as far as I know. Economic development didn't know. We were all kind of hit out of left field, just like everybody else was. But the thing I will emphasize is again, while we didn't know anything about it, we are working very diligently to try to get a solution in place, so that way, when Safeway does close their doors for the final day, that hopefully that there's a very short transition period, and we can get something else back in there and up and running.
That is the main goal for all of us up here. That is the main goal for Michael and for Pam. I want to give a special thanks to the city of Lamar, to Mayor Crespin. Lamar also lost their Safeway, or is on the verge of losing it, just like us. There was 10 in Colorado. So it's important to share the actual details. And when a lot of stuff is coming out all at once, it's hard to say, well, what's going on, what's actually real. At 7 we got word of it, but we didn't get the official email till around 11:45 that morning. Okay. As soon as I got it, I forwarded it to Michael. He put it out on social media. We sent it to council. When that kind of thing happens, it gets frustrating, and people want to blame somebody. I understand completely, because to me, the most important thing, that's 60 jobs. That's 60 families. That's a loss just to their families and what they do for our community. Then you start thinking bigger picture, and you start thinking, okay, that's where we go when we don't want to go to Walmart. If we don't have the vehicle, the transportation to get to Walmart, that's where we go. So then I start thinking about that. Then my mind starts going to city business, and where does that tax revenue go now? You know, that's how I played that out. But nobody up here has any control over what a private business does in this city. And I wanted to make that clear, because you guys all, myself included, we do sign up to be volunteers, but that doesn't mean that we have all this power and that we can make things change just because we wanted to. I believe we have an amazing team with Michael, with Pam, with Brock, all our supervisors that are working hard to make sure we're staying together and doing a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, but it's changing so much that we can't share that right now, because I text him in the morning, by that afternoon we found out something new. We found out something different. What we thought we knew 2 days ago, it's different from what we knew this morning. So just know that we're working on it, and we're doing our best, and when we know something, we will be the first ones to share it with you. But right now, it's just still all planning, and we're doing our best to get something in that building. Thank you, Michael, for that. Any other questions for Michael? Community events and council report. I do have Pam still on the back, so Pam, can you come up for an event that might be coming up, I think? There's an event coming up.
Maybe. So
I
we had a
purposely just talk about it, just
Thank
because.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then what's the thunder?
Yes, so Tarantula Fest, we are nearing that. It is September 26th and 27th. You guys are probably all familiar with what happens that day, but I'll run through it. We're lucky to have Dr. Paula Cushing and Dr. Cara Shillington that will be at the college. We have a great partnership there hosting that talk. That will happen. 3:30 we have arachnophobia. This is on Friday. All of this is on Friday. We added the tours last year, the bus tours on Friday. Our tours filled up within a month. We have a huge waiting list that we're not able to open it up to anymore, so the tours are very, very popular. But we take city buses, and we want to keep those reasonable and small so that they're enjoyable out on the grass on 3:30 we have
Gotcha.
we are partnering again this year with the art project, so they will be painting in the alleys again this year. Vendor booths will be downtown. I think we have close to 70 right now. If you want to, there's still able to sign up, so you can do that on our website. We do have the classic car show that will be in the north side of the courthouse parking lot. The parade starts at 10. Lots of great events during the day, including the education pavilion that's going to be downstairs this year. Still at 302 Colorado and Times Square, but it's going to be downtown. We have about 16 to 18 food trucks that'll be there, so come and be hungry as well. And then all the activities, a cornhole, aerial leg contest, 8-legged race. I forgot about the aerial leg contest. I'm going to work harder on that. And then the beer, yeah.
Your shave accident? Is that what you're saying?
The beer garden, we moved back from noon to 11 this year. So it will start a little bit later, but we do have that happening as well. And Koshari's dancers will be performing at 2. Again, the bus tours at 5, leave from the Times Square. Chuck Wagon Dinner will also be happening in conjunction, but that's from 5 to 7, so people can plan around that for their activities as well. And then we have Uptown Jam and opening band Desperado Dario and Friends that we're going to have as well at the Beer Garden from 7 to 11. I think Desperado Dario and Friends will open at like 5:30 or 6. So.
Do you know any of their songs? No, just back there.
So check out the website, Tarantula, visit lahunta.net. We have the Tarantula Fest page. You can still sign up to be a food vendor. We also have parade sign up there. We're finalizing the schedule on that. It is changing some of the times, but hope everybody can join us.
Quick question. Is there a fee to do the parade?
No fee.
No fee to
Nope.
be an entrant in the parade?
No, I mean, and we're requesting people to sign up just so we can do a lineup and have it organized, but we're also encouraging people to show up the day of, and we'll just kind of, put them in there. It's tarantula themed. We encourage people to dress up or decorate their cars, but it's not required. It's just a great way to come and kick off the day. A lot of people that come from outside, we've heard the tourists, they're not used to seeing parades. I know that's one of the wonderful things we have about La Junta, and we celebrate things with parades all the time, so I think we take that for granted, but the tourists absolutely love it. So come and enjoy, walk, run,
Bike, maybe me and Michael might bike here.
Yeah. You can throw candy bars at people.
Or spiders. Are the hotels full? Like, what are numbers looking like?
They're completely full.
Awesome.
Yeah, hotels are completely full. All of the short-term rentals we hear are completely full as well. So, like I said, the tours have been full since I don't even think we were into September for the tours. We had to close them down at the beginning of September. So.
I think we have a former Tarantula Parade float winner in the audience too. Are you going to make a return this year, Gary?
Maybe.
There you go.
Have a seat.
Thank you, Pam, for that update.
Thank you.
All right. Any other community events? I know we talked about the neighborhood watch. Make sure we go to that. Anything else? All right, we're making it. Governing body reports. You turned right away, Maureen. Go
I
ahead.
don't have a report. I just have a question. Are the Parks Board and the Senior Center Board, are they also going to be moving to having their meetings in council chambers?
I'm sure the parks are. I haven't heard on the senior center. The parks are quarterly. Is that right, Michael? Do you know?
I don't.
I think they're quarterly. No?
Parks is, they just don't do the 3 summer months.
Oh.
They do the rest of September through May.
But they'll start being...
There was only, I thought there was 2. I forgot all about senior center, so yes, senior center.
Yeah, we'll do the senior center too.
Okay.
You're gonna start hosting the senior center here?
There you go. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Short. Go Tarantulas. That's it.
I have a request. I would like Michael and Elisa, would you guys be able to work on a budget that would have the shortfalls that we're expecting with the Safeway tax revenue?
So about being able to project shortfalls, it's going to be kind of difficult to do that because again, it's not like everyone that exclusively shops at Safeway is going to just not shop anymore. I mean, they're obviously going to go somewhere to shop. Now, is that going to stay here in La Junta at Walmart? Are they going to go, to one of our neighboring communities to one of their food markets? That we don't know. So it's difficult to plan what that shortfall is going to be. Now, the shortfall we can do a little bit better on calculation is going to be on the utility side. And that's some numbers that we have, that I had Lisa get for me today. I didn't get until later on this afternoon, so we haven't been able to really sit down and calculate that out. And I don't want to really quote any numbers just yet because, again, I haven't really been able to look at it, and it's in a big old grid, and it's really tiny, and I was hurting my eyes just to look at it earlier. So could we? Yeah, I mean, you could speculate.
Do you know what the revenue was from there
I do.
last year?
I do.
Are you able to give us that?
No. It's, we
It's
have,
proprietary.
well,
It's not-
it's, so from what I understand, and I haven't actually seen this contract, but we've signed a contract with the state of Colorado saying that we will not talk about anybody's, or any business's sales tax numbers. So while, yes, I do know that number, or that approximate number, again, you can speculate all you want as to, is it 50%, is it 60%? What is that percentage? Sure, you plug in all sorts of numbers in there, but to be able to say definitively, hey, this is what it's going to be, this is the toll it's going to have. I don't want to say it's impossible to calculate, but it's very difficult to calculate because again, those folks that only shop at Safeway, they're not going to stop buying food.
Right.
They're just going to figure out somewhere else to get it from. Now, like I said, if it's at Walmart, yes, we would like for all those tax dollars to stay here in town. But there's lots of folks out there, I won't say lots, there's plenty of folks out there that are just real anti-Walmart, just in principle. And again, I respect that. It's your money, you spend it where you want, how you want to do it. It's none of my business. But to answer your question, sure we can, but it's going to be completely speculative.
Okay.
Now, the thing we can look at is on the utility side, the utility use side.
Well, I think it would be a good idea to do that.
Utilities?
Mhm.
Okay.
I know you can pull the sales tax by categories, so it might be informative just to see what percent of our overall sales tax comes from food and liquor. Like I'm trying to think, because there's categories of sales tax that we can pull out, like home goods, and just see as the piece of the pie of how much of our sales tax comes from food sales, liquor sales, home goods. That might be interesting.
And Mel, you may be able to answer this. I know the state of Colorado doesn't charge or doesn't collect their portion of grocery tax. Does the city of La Junta, do we currently collect? We don't collect anything either? Okay. So therefore, like I said, to calculate that, it's going to be very difficult.
Well, I just know from conversations with Eliza before, she said she can provide them by category of the goods sold, but not from the business that they were attached to. So, just to give that kind of picture might be helpful.
So I will ask Eliza about that, about bringing that Monday night when we have the public hearing, and Eliza and I will sit down and try to calculate to the best of our ability as far as what the utility is going to be.
Okay, thank you.
And again, that's another moving target because again, does it set empty for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year? Again, I think what we're going to try to do is break it down on an average on a monthly basis. That way, you all can calculate from there. Hey, if it's 2 months, it's 2 times whatever number that is. If it's 6, times whatever that number is, instead of trying to figure out the whole picture, we can break it down a little smaller.
Yeah, I think that's great, just to even be looking forward like that and see any pitfalls we want to, pray for the best, but be realistic about what that looks like. I would love everyone to stay here and, just keep spending their money here, but that's not the world we live in. There's going to be people that look to and I'm not even discouraging them to go to Rocky Ford and Los Angeles, but it's the ones that go to Pueblo and doing the bulk shopping. That's gonna hurt our bottom line. Is it 100%? No, but it's still gonna be a chunk. So whatever we can do just to be looking forward there on what that might look like. We want to do our best to get it, as soon as Safeway closes their doors, open something else up, but we have to be realistic about what that's going to look like.
Okay.
Jill, I have a question. Has Safeway indicated what they're going to do with the building?
Right. Ownership,
Yeah,
who owns the building?
There's still they own the building, and there's a lot of discussion going on that. So.
And are there stipulations for who and what can come in?
There's a lot of negotiation going on with other parties, so we're just not going to answer that at this point. Sorry, it's changing so much.
It's okay. I understand.
One other question on the property management. We got the report that shows all of the insured properties that we have. Are you working on another spreadsheet that would show us all of the city-owned properties at the industrial park and then also all the properties that we have that have housing structures that have been taken down already, ones that need to be taken down, something more broken down. So that was a lot of
Right, well,
information
and that's why it was requested multiple times from you all what you were looking for, and with no responses, we gave you all the most general, broad spectrum as we could. Now, if there are specific categories that you're looking for, yeah, please respond to that email and say, hey, I would like to see this. Because again, I think, Mel, we have the ability to be able to break that stuff down, but without any sort of response from anyone, it was difficult to be like, well, I don't know what they want. I mean, Mel and I talked about this several times. Like, what do they want? I don't know. We've asked multiple times. I've asked in an open meeting like this before, and nobody's replied. Nobody's responded. But yeah, if you'll reply to that email, specifically what you're looking for, we can get it put together.
Okay. Thank you.
And I talked to Brock again this morning. On that note, I talked to Brock again this morning. We're looking to get the bus tour stuff all wrapped up to be able to take y'all on it next month. Again, same thing that I've asked previously before in open meetings and through emails. If there are specific properties you want to go look at, please let us know. Because as you saw, the list is quite vast of the properties the city owns. We're not going to hit every one of those on the bus tour. So please, if you have anything specific in mind, let us know, and we'll do it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Paul? No. I just want to say that, when we have these property management tours, make sure that you're getting with Mel. So if there is something you guys want to see, that we let them know, because you did all see that list, and it's massive. It has parks, it has this building we're in right here, and it's just all over. So she's able to dig in there and fine tune it a little bit. And if we need to do more than one tour, we can do that. Just make sure we're all clear on what we want to see there.
Pretty good. I did see one property that was built in 1927, and I don't know, is the property still? Do we have a building that's that old that the city owns?
I would say yes. Again, there's a couple buildings down at City Park. I know there were old WPA projects that were done. I was actually told that one of them was actually the city manager's home once upon a time. That's where they put the city manager up whenever.
Want to bring that back?
No, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. Thanks.
Do you need a motion for that?
But on that property, make sure you let them know what you want. But I also want to talk a little bit about the fire across the street and how the city owned that. And in years past, with the different city attorneys, so it's not anything to do there, but we had part of EPA grants to where when the city would have those houses in their care, they would get taken down. It was fairly quickly. It wasn't a long-standing thing. Last year that stopped, and we have the Brownsfield that we're doing now, but it doesn't take that place of what the EPA was doing. They were doing anywhere from 3 to 5 a year, which was amazing. But it's not that same way anymore. It's a lot tighter to get any EPA money, and that one was on the list to come down. It was,
and it should be noted, brownfields do not; those funds do not actually do the demo. They do all the stuff up to the demo. They don't. They don't do the actual demo. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. So that yes, there is brownfield money available. However, you can't use that for the actual demo part. Again, that's where the EPA used to jump in and do it. Of course, that's who we're working with. That's the primary agency we're working with right now, trying to do the emergency cleanup.
And when the city takes these, it's not to rent them out and to do these things with them. It's because they need to come down. So we're not getting that property across the street to do something with it. We're getting it to take it down because the people that had it were not able to do that. So yeah, I think Lisa is right on which ones do we still have left that weren't able to get into that program, and then the lots, if we still have some for what came down already. Is that what you were getting at?
Yeah. I'll send it in.
There shouldn't be many, but we'll just double check anyway. All right. Without anything else, thank you all for coming out. It was a long night, and I'm going to adjourn this meeting.
So for us, it's just an hour and a half.
Hey, Patrick did his in 30 minutes.